Well, that game was everything you hoped for a Big 12 championship. I mean, it came down to the last possession, literally. And it's Baylor's a really good team, great coaching staff, and we've had 3 great games against those guys. But at the end of the day, we always found a way to get it done, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times. Shoot, we hadn't beat them in 35 years, and now we beat them 3 times this year. So just so proud of this group and everything that they've accomplished. They're just so resilient and gritty and tough, and it's happened over and over and over all season. They just find a way. And so it's going to be fun to enjoy this. We get a week to finally catch our breath, but we're gonna celebrate this one and really enjoy this.
All right, hands are up. We will go first right here on the left. Hang on 1 second. Good, there we go. All right.
Mark, we sat in a very similar situation a week ago, and you called this team hard to kill.
Yeah.
We saw the kind of a very similar end of the game tonight. There was a sequence where Agnes got, I think, 3 offensive rebounds on 1 possession. How does that kind of exemplify that hard to kill attitude?
It is. These guys are just winners, and they find ways to impact the game. Each of them they're so talented in their own ways, but each of them have different gifts and things that they bring to the table. And Agnes, that's Agnes. Like, she's just the backbone, the warrior, and she finds ways to impact winning. And so, again, I think that's one of the reasons we are hard to kill. There's so many weapons. There's so much talent. And each of them complement each other, and they're all, we talked about yesterday, they all just want to win. And none of us want this journey to end or this ride to end. So, but yeah, that's a great example.
Stephen Johnson, forward Star Telegram. Hailey, this is your first conference tournament title, right? I guess how rewarding is the experience after everything you went through in March, not only to win this title for the first time, but you win it with teammates like Sedona and Madison and your coach like Mark?
Yeah, I mean, it means everything, and again, like, it's just more evidence of, you know, how perfect God's timing has been in my life. And I was thinking about it even at the beginning of the tournament, and you know, as humans, we always question, like, why things are happening to us, like, why we're going through things. And if I wouldn't have had the experiences that I've had in the past, I would not be able to realize this blessing that I have in front of me with TCU to its fullest potential. Like, I would have not been the person that would be able to capitalize off of what this opportunity has been for me. So, you know, it's God's timing, man, and this was my year that He decided that, you know, it was time for me to give glory to His name. So I'm just super grateful.
Amen.
Sorry, Stephen. We'll go to David.
Hailey, in the last year, Olympic medal, Big 12 Player of the Year, Big 12 regular season championship, and now tournament championship.
That's a pretty good run.
And you're on quite a run. How does this one stack up with the rest of them?
Ooh, honestly, team achievements are, you know, it's such a flex to say that your team is good. Like, anybody can go out and have average 20 a game and play on a bad team and never get to postseason. To say that your team, like, kicks people's butts, like, that's the ultimate flex. So, like, anytime my team, like, we do something, like, that's the best feeling. But at the end of the day, you know, I think things have started coming to me more, and I've been actually able to, you know, really get over the hurdle of certain things because I've stopped living for it. Like, my self-worth isn't teetering on whether I win, you know, Big 12 Player of the Year or not. So, yeah, I think I'm proud of myself for that growth as a human. But at the end of the day, anything that we win as a team, like, that's the ultimate flex to me.
And Mark, to follow up, when did you figure out that this team had what it took? You talked about being one of the worst programs in the Power 5 2 years ago. When did you figure out that this team had what it took?
Yeah, it's similar to Hailey's story. As you build something, there's adversity along the way, and you need part of that adversity to become what you need to become. And so a year ago, we were 14-0 and off to the best start in school history. And at that time, that group, before the injuries hit was a special group, but we just didn't quite have the depth and the firepower. So you knew you were on the right track, but that was a really hard and challenging year as you take over a program. And then this next year, the first glimpse in college basketball, you get a chance to play 2 exhibition games or 2 scrimmages. And we chose to play 2 SEC games behind closed doors. And after those 2 games was the first chance, you come back and you meet as a staff and you're breaking film and you start going, gosh dang, we might be pretty good this year. And then the first aha moment was the NC State game. And they were in the Final Four a year ago and returned everybody. But that's when you got to see the star power and when the bright lights were on. And it was our first national televised game. And you came and you got to see what these guys are made of. And they didn't flinch. And now 34 games into the season, they still haven't flinched.
All right, middle right.
Charlie Krupski, KGHK Radio. Coach, just kind of adding on to that, thinking back, when you guys were at your lowest, did you think that you could get this down and this quickly?
Yeah, no question. No question. A huge part of college athletics is recruiting and attracting talent and identifying. And one of my favorite parts of the job is assembling teams and finding young women and getting the locker room dialed in and right and your culture right and our style of play and system that we play. You know what kind of pieces you have to get. And so you never know how long it'll take, though. But we did the same thing at Sac State. Our second year was the best team in school history. And so, but again, you're at the mercy. The Lord has absolutely blessed our labor, has watched over us, has brought each one of these kids. The story of how they've showed up here is amazing. I want to say this, and in an era of NIL and all this stuff, in this story, I haven't shared much, but you guys, Madison Conner, Sedona Prince, they came to TCU, and I didn't have $1. They came to TCU because they wanted to build something. They had a chip on their shoulder, and they wanted to hoop, and they wanted to prove something. And so, and again, Hailey, she didn't come here because of any money. Hailey loves basketball more than anything, and she had 9 months left to try to get her career right and accomplish her childhood dream. Each one of these kids have dreams to play in the W and play at the next level, and these 3 came to TCU, and that's our whole roster for the right reasons. And so it's been magical. It really is. It's hard to even truly put into words this journey that's unfolded these last 2 years.
Can you even describe just how much fun this team is for you?
Yeah, I get to sit courtside and watch the show every game. I'm truly along for this ride, and you guys, it's so stinking hard to do what they're doing. Well, it's never been done at TCU, but to win 30 games for anywhere at any school in the country is incredibly hard to do. And so, yes, I'm enjoying every moment. I know how fragile winning and losing is, and it could change like that. A year ago, it did for us. And so I think one of the things, you guys don't get to see this group behind closed doors, especially these 3. I got 3 characters that are sitting next to me that are fun-loving people that enjoy each other. Their teammates enjoy each other. And so just this whole journey, they're freaking kicking everybody's butt, and they're having fun along the way.
So the teams haven't been able to do much with you guys except just try to mug it up and get physical. What type of message do you? I'm trying to be real.
Yeah, it's true.
What type of message do you think you guys sent in terms of being like, hey, we can get physical, we can get a little grimy as well? So.
Yeah, I mean, that's been our biggest growth area this season, I think. It's been a challenge for us all along the way, and we saw it early. It's a compliment to us. It says, we're going to try to turn you over and kind of make it a nasty game to slow you down and get, forced turnovers and stuff. And so it's been a challenge for us all year, right? We've really worked on it, really focused on it, and we've kind of, faced it head on and said, this is going to be what we need to overcome to be the best team as possible. And so it's been fun. It's been a challenge, learning how to pick that apart, right? And just be calm and patient and have trust in each other and play the right kind of offense, right? So it's been fun.
All right.
Coach, 31-3, regular season champions, conference champions, player of the year in the conference, defensive player in the conference, best three-point shooter in the country. Why are teams still not giving you respect when it comes to bracketology?
Yeah, that's a good question. These guys could probably answer that and be wittier than I am, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. I don't totally know all the inner workings. I try to pour my energy into winning and focusing on the next game and scouting, and that's all you can do. But as they figure out 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, I do know we get a host, and I do know we're 31-3. And I believe there's current teams like NC State and Notre Dame that are ahead of us. I don't totally understand how that works. And we don't have a bad loss on our schedule after 34 games. So I know there's a committee out there that works really hard at trying to get it right. And they scrub those top 16 seeds. And at the end of the day, they've done the different reveals, and there's transparency in the process, which I really like. That's really the only thing I follow, is when the committee does the NCAA top 16 reveal throughout the year. And then I kind of keep an eye on the net overall. But I believe the committee will get it right, and we've handled our business. There's not many teams that have won their league title and have won the conference tournament and don't have one bad loss on their resume.
Coach Trevor Butler from the University of Daily Kansas. You mentioned that obviously we don't get to see these players behind closed doors. What kind of an impact have these veteran players made on this team, especially Hailey and Sedona?
Man, all three of these guys, they can have a absolute blast and have fun when it's time, which you have to, because we've been doing this 10 months now, I think. But when it's time, when it's go time, one of their greatest giftings, all three of these kids, the switch flips. And when they go on the court and step into the ring, they become different animals. And they're like pros that way. And they've experienced so much in their college career, you know. And part of that, I mean, Hailey's played in Final Four. Sedona's been a part of the #1 team in the country. And Madison played in a national championship game. And so they understand the ebb and flow of a year and when to pull back and have fun and let loose and when to also crank it up.
Back on the podium.
This is for Coach and the players, but it's the second year the tournament's been hosted here at T-Mobile Center. I'm just curious as to your thoughts on the venue and then also of Kansas City as a whole.
Connor, start us.
Enlighten us, please.
Enlighten us, I don't know really. We get driving around on a bus, so I don't really know too much about the city, but I think T-Mobile is a great venue, and I think we had a good fan support here, so it was awesome to play here.
I mean, we won here, so obviously we love it. We love it.
It's good as well. Yeah.
The truth is, you guys, they do nothing. They don't leave the hotel unless there's a pregame meal. They have film session. They have ice baths. You have 3 games in 3 days. Last night, I think after our game, we came back. They did ice baths here. Then once they did that, you have the media window that you have to knock out. Then they had post-game meal. Then they had massages that were a 2-hour window for everybody to get the massage. I think we started film at 8 o'clock at night, finished at 9. And then the 2 kids, after the film session ended, they had 2 more massages, and they were in the rooms by 10. So I know Kansas City's an awesome place. I think this venue's great, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I know it takes a village to put on an event like this, and there's so many moving parts. From our end, there wasn't one hiccup that I noticed at all. So it was a first-class job by everyone here.
All right, right over here to right.
Daniel Schmidt, University of Daily Kansas. This one's for Madison. You know, you've been through a lot. You started at Arizona, you ended up here. What's it been like, you know, the last 2 years now that you got to stand on the court, watch the confetti fall? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I think Hailey kind of touched on it. We've all kind of been through different parts of our basketball career and kind of been through things, and I think that's why we're having success that we are now, just because we've kind of endured a lot of things over our years, and I think it's just awesome to see this program go from 1-17 to the work that we've put in, the work the coaching staff has put in, and kind of just all the players buying in. I think that's something that's really rare about our team. We all buy in, we all want to win, we're all here for the right reasons, and I think that's super hard to find nowadays.
Sedona, you've talked a lot about just your experience at TCU and what the university means to you in this program. You had the broom out today. I think you really bought into the rivalry with Baylor. What does it mean to have the opportunity to win a championship and a tournament championship over a big rival, and then to continue to make history with everything that you guys do?
Oh yeah, I mean, all glory to God. Genuinely, you can feel it when you're in this program. I think everyone has. It's undeniable that God has been along with us from the start, along this journey, and so it's amazing. It's a blessing to be a part of something, right? To be the first to do something. It's very rare in human history that you get to be the first at something, and so it's a blessing. I'm so grateful. I just really can't believe it. You know, it's taken a lot to get here, a lot of patience and adversity, and just kind of like looking up and being like, why? Like, what is this for so long? And to be in the moment that it kind of all makes sense and clicks is really special. And so just trying to take it in and enjoy every moment. I know that when this season's over, I'm going to miss it for the rest of my life. And so being in it now is just soaking it in every day.
Over on the left.
Steve Walls, KONN-FM here in Kansas City. Madison, I think you brought it up, talking about buying in, right? Sometimes I think it takes a lot from teams to just buy in totally. How long did it take for you guys to just put your egos to the side and buy in as a unit? And it's for everyone.
Honestly, I think from the first day we started training camp in the summer, which is kind of crazy to say. You have a whole bunch of transfer kids and some kids that return, but I mean, it was kind of crazy. Like, all of us clicked. There was no drama off the rip. Like, we all just knew that we wanted to come here and win, and we wanted to be the best basketball player and best person possible. And I think that we all have done that from the jump. So we really haven't had to deal with egos or anything like that, selfishness, from the jump, which is really crazy. And I mean, since June, we've kind of been a family, and I think that's why we're winning at such a high rate, and that's why we're doing the things that we're doing, because we really are a family and care about each other, and there's no egos in this locker room.
I think it's really cool as well. Maddie and we all three sat down in the conference room when Hailey was on her visit, and no coaches, no one, just us. And you know, to hear about Hailey Van Lith, obviously she's a massive name, and you never know. But Hailey's, you know, just her spirit going into that room and talking to her, we immediately were like, we can do something special here, Hailey. And just the way she spoke to us, so I was like, I want to make history, I want to win, be a part of a great team. And that's when I kind of knew, I was like, this is going to be something really, really special. And so that buy-in from her immediately, like, we're going to do something special. This is going to be very, something people talk about for forever. That was the moment for me. I was like, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're all correct in what they've said, but to me, like, a lot of people throw the word selfish around, and I think it can be misconstrued sometimes, because if a girl takes a tough shot, a lot of people are like, oh, that's a selfish shot. If that's what you do for the team, that's not a selfish shot. You're trying to help the team. And that's the thing, like, it's not like we're perfect all the time, and sometimes I take bad shots, sometimes everybody takes bad shots, but it's the intention behind it is never to be selfish. It's because we think that's what we can do to help the team. And so I think that's why it's been so easy getting along, because I've never questioned the intention behind why they do things. I fully trust them. If they think that shot or that read was right, they're doing it to help the team. I've never once questioned anybody's intentions on this team, so it makes it really easy when you have that trust.
I want to give a special shout out to Chauncey Franks. He's the FCA director at TCU, and Chauncey's just been an amazing part of my journey. But we came up with an idea to start a leadership group instead of captains, and we handpicked 5 of them, and they've done 11 meetings once a week to just invest and pour into the leadership aspect. In college athletics, these guys, so much of the time and energy resources is spent on, the weight room and nutrition and the basketball piece, and oftentimes the leadership piece for young people, they don't get that element. And so it takes a village, and there's so many. I think our staff's incredible at pouring into the players. And then Chauncey's done just such a fantastic job of just meeting with them. And so, but ultimately, it all comes down to the players. These 3, but there's 15 of them. that ultimately have to decide if they're all in with 2 feet. And you can't make someone do that. You can encourage them, and so I think that's what really is special about this group of 15 young women. They have been all in, and they're each other's biggest fans, which is rare.
And Coach, you talked about leadership. You also said you were at your lowest point mentally. I know we ask players this all the time, but as a coach, how did you overcome it mentally?
Obviously, my faith is bigger than the basketball piece, and a year ago I was really struggling, and my wife had a message put on her heart that she kept telling me, and she's here, but her theme last year was the Lord setting the stage. That was the exact phrase that I heard all the time as I couldn't sleep and was questioning stuff and trying to figure out, how to dig this program out of the hole. And my wife just kept telling me the Lord's setting the stage. She was right, and I didn't know that it meant this level.
Women are always right.
Yep, like Hailey said, women are usually right. So my wife was spot on, and all of us, you got to go through adversity sometimes. Sometimes you need some rain to get a rainbow. And that saying sounds simple, but it's pretty accurate. And so my family, and this group that last year, even though it was hard, the underfrogs is kind of what we coined ourselves. That group was so resilient, and it was so fun battling with that group. But it laid the foundation of hard work and no excuses and not folding and rolling up your sleeves. And that foundation that was laid carried over to this. Now you have elite talent, but the foundation's still built right. And that's why we're champs, and we're 31-3.
Any other questions? Congratulations. Good luck at the NCAA tournament.
Thank you.
Thank